Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin is currently breaking below short-term support, while Ethereum is on the edge of a break to the downside, which I'll talk about later in the video, so make sure to watch to the end. First of all, starting off on the 4-day Bitcoin chart, and right now, as of recording this video, the price of Bitcoin is technically still forming significant higher lows and higher highs here on the 4-day time frame. And obviously, if you're looking at the super trend indicator, this is still currently sitting in the green, which basically means on the larger time frames, we're still technically within a larger bullish trend, despite the current short-term pullback. But with that being said, if you're looking at that potential cup and handle pattern that I've been talking about recently on the channel here on the 4-day time frame, if we start to see more of a pullback in the short term, potentially over the coming days or weeks, then that could potentially invalidate the formation phase for this pattern if we don't see a breakout soon at some point within the next few weeks. And so at least as of right now, this giant cup and handle pattern, it's already completed the formation phase, but it is not yet active because we still need to see a confirmed breakout above around 31,000, which is where this strong resistance is sitting at. And we need to confirm that breakout with ideally a weekly candle close well above 31K, which as of right now has not yet happened. So basically, if the Bitcoin price actually breaks out above 31,000 with that strong confirmation at some point within the next few weeks, then it's possible this cup and handle pattern could begin to play out. But for the time being, this giant cup and handle pattern is not yet in play. It has formed, but it's not active. And if we see a further pullback over the coming weeks in the shorter term, then even though we might still be within this larger bullish trend, that could actually invalidate the formation phase for this cup and handle pattern. And now what's interesting is if that actually happens over the coming days or weeks, it's possible we could actually form a smaller cup and handle pattern right here. But as of right now, obviously that has not yet happened. And now if you're zooming into the daily time frame right now, as you can see, the price of Bitcoin is still struggling around this strong resistance, sitting in between around 30,000 to 31,000 approximately. And on top of that, like I've been saying over the last few days, for nearly a week now, we do have an active bearish divergence on the daily time frame, which basically means we should not really be expecting any significant bullish momentum in the short term. And instead, like I've been saying over the last few days, we're likely going to see either some short-term choppy sideways price action or potentially a bit of a short-term pullback. And so as you can see here, over the last few days, we have been seeing a slight pullback, which is one of the expected scenarios for a bearish divergence. And if you're looking at the daily Bitcoin MACD, as of right now, this is still looking more bearish than bullish, as I've been saying over the last few days. But with that being said, it is not showing as much momentum compared to some of these previous movements, which basically means we shouldn't necessarily expect a massive crash or dump in the imminent short term, and instead we're likely going to see once again either some choppy sideways price action or potentially a bit more of a short-term pullback rather than a massive crash. And now while this short-term neutral to bearish price action is currently playing out, basically this short-term pause from the larger bullish trend, this is helping to reset the daily Bitcoin RSI. Obviously, as we've seen over the last couple of weeks, the daily Bitcoin RSI has moved from overbought territories to right now basically back towards the neutral level, which is 50. And if we do continue to see more of a short-term pullback from here, obviously that can help push the RSI down towards oversold territories. And usually if that happens, that basically means we have limited room to the downside if the RSI makes it down towards oversold territories, which as of right now, obviously it is not yet the case. So essentially in the shorter term, we do have room to either direction, but due to this bearish divergence currently active and the momentum in the MACD looking slightly more bearish than bullish, obviously just in the short term, we're still currently looking more bearish than bullish. But for anyone that's new to all of this, it is important to understand that it is possible for the price to be bearish in the shorter term or neutral in the shorter term while remaining bullish in the longer term, because obviously we have already seen that multiple times throughout this year so far. Clearly, the price of Bitcoin throughout this year so far has remained in a larger bullish trend, despite some time periods where we have been in more of a shorter term bearish trend. And so it's possible we could be entering into a bit more of a short-term bearish trend if some of these short-term support levels do not hold up, which I'll talk about in just a moment. But first, just quickly mentioning that there's currently an exclusive airdrop happening over at Bybit for only those of you who have signed up to Bybit using the link below this video in the description or in the pinned comment. And so if you want to know how to claim up to 1000 USDT in this exclusive airdrop, then I will leave a link to this page with all of the information in the description down below. In fact, it'll be the first link in the description and in the pinned comment. And by the way, this ends at the end of this month. But anyway, with that being said, taking a look at the 8-hour Bitcoin to US dollar chart, and right now, as of recording this video, the price of Bitcoin is potentially breaking below this important short-term support, which is also the line of support for this possible bullish flag pattern. And in case you're wondering, this line of support is sitting at approximately 29.9k, but we're still yet to see a confirmed break below that support with candle closes below that level. So at least as of right now, it's still technically possible that this could just be another candle wick like what we saw back here or back here, for example, which is why we need to wait to see some more confirmation to be more confident that we're actually breaking to the downside. So at least for now, it is still possible that this bullish flag pattern could continue to form, but obviously it is not yet active at all, because for this to become active, we need to see a confirmed breakout above this resistance. And now if we do end up seeing a confirmed break below this important line of support, then in that case, taking a look at the Fibonacci retracement tool from swing low to swing high, the next Fibonacci level of support to the downside is this 38.2% Fibonacci level, which is sitting at around 28.9k. And if we see a break below that level, then we have the 50% retracement level sitting at around 28,000, and below that we have the important golden pocket sitting in between around 27,000 to around 27.2k. So those would simply be the next important support levels to pay attention to in the shorter term if we first confirm a break well below this important support level at around 29.9k, which as of right now, we have not yet confirmed a break below that level. And now if you're zooming further into the shorter term, taking a look at the 4-hour Bitcoin chart, once again, the price of Bitcoin at the time of recording this video is potentially breaking below this important support that I just mentioned. But as of right now, we still need to see that confirmation, like for example, candle closes below around 29.9k. And ideally, to further confirm a break to the downside, it would be even better to see a retest of this support and basically flip it into new resistance, because if that happens, that's basically an extra confirmation signal to further confirm a break to the downside. But either way, whether we see a proper retest of this previous support or we simply see some more candle closes, either way, if we ultimately further confirm a break to the downside below this support, then as I've said in recent videos here on the channel, that would basically signal a potential short-term bearish trend beginning to form, which could potentially look something like what we saw back here. Obviously, we saw lower lows and lower highs in the shorter term. So if you're talking about the coming weeks, possibly over the next 1 month, if we further confirm this break below this support, then we could be looking more bearish in terms of the short-term trend. But once again, as I said towards the beginning of the video, that doesn't necessarily mean the larger multi-month long trend is over, because technically this is still currently bullish, as it has been pretty much the entire time since the very beginning of this year. But anyway, now getting into the Ethereum part of this video, this is on the daily ETH to US dollar chart, and right now, as of recording this video, the price of ETH is trading on the lower end of this ascending parallel channel, because obviously, as you can see here, in recent weeks, the price of ETH has been forming more of a bullish trend, forming higher lows and higher highs. But close to 1 week ago now, we saw a perfect rejection from not only this ascending line of resistance, but also this horizontal area of resistance, which I've been talking about on the channel recently, sitting in between around $2,000 to 2030. So once again, on the daily time frame, that is still the important resistance to pay attention to. And as for support, we have this ascending line of support sitting at approximately 1890, and and below that level, we have this area of support sitting in between around 1770 to 1820. So basically, if we see a confirmed break below around 1890 with a daily candle close below that level, then it's quite likely we'll see a drop down towards around 1820 at least. And as for the daily Ethereum price oscillators, right now, both the RSI and the MACD are currently looking very neutral on the daily time frame, because first of all, if you're looking at the RSI, this is essentially chopping around sideways as of right now, while the MACD is showing almost no momentum at all. It's looking very flat, which basically means, at least in the shorter term for now, we should not really be expecting a significant move on this chart, and instead we're likely going to see relatively mild price action. And now if you're zooming into the shorter term, this is on the 4-hour ETH to US dollar chart, and right now, as I recorded this video, the price of ETH is trading right around this golden pocket, sitting in between around 1890 to 1.9k. And once again, we also have this ascending line of support sitting at approximately 1890, which as of right now, the price is holding slightly above. But if we end up seeing a confirmed break back below around 1890, then in that case, we have the 78.6% Fibonacci level in the short term sitting at around 1870, which could act as a bit of short-term support. And below that, we also have this previous low sitting at around 1820 to 1830, which could also act as a bit of short-term support. And so overall, both Bitcoin and ETH are technically taking a short-term pause from the larger bullish trend as of right now. But if you want to know how to maximize your profits in crypto, no matter if the price is going to the upside, to the downside, or simply chopping around sideways, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how to make money if the price is either bullish or bearish using AI, and the video in the bottom left shows you how to make money in a choppy sideways price range. But anyway, that's everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.